Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the sign of Gemini and those Gemini who are in a twin flame connection. Gemini, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never solicit private readings from you. I do offer private readings, and if you are interested in getting a private reading, the information about that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page. So if you have come to this reading and you don't know if you are in a twin flame connection or you don't know what twin flame is, please look it up online, look it up on YouTube, because people have devoted whole channels to the twin flame connection. But in a nutshell, it describes two people that share the same soul. So one soul, two bodies. It's kind of a crazy concept to try and describe to people, and not everyone has a twin flame. So typically when twins meet, if they are born in the same lifetime, which sometimes they are not, when they meet, it's intoxicating, it's alluring, it's magnetic, it's passionate. And then the twins start to trigger one another. For one person who is the chaser, they know through and through that they've found the love of their life. They've found their divine counterpart, and they are willing to do the work and go through the spiritual awakening to be with that person. They know that in an energetic sense, and that would be the chaser. And then the runner of the dynamic is the person who it's too much for them to bear. It's too intense, and they run away. Even though they love their twin and they know this is their divine counterpart, they can't explain it, but they have to get away. So there is often a separation period between twins where they have to be apart to spiritually ascend, to discover their spiritual gifts, to be able to offer those gifts to the world and raise the vibration of humanity. At which time, when they both do that, then they can come together in union if they so choose. You don't have to end up with your twin flame, and in a way it's almost not the point. The point is to love yourself fully, find your own path, and not be codependent on your twin for anything, but to come together as equals. So the sun is always doing weird things at this time of day. So hold on, just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna open this up. So, all right, so twins, I'm going to be doing your reading with the Way Home Tarot and getting an oracle card for the overall energy from the Human Spirit Oracle, which both of these decks I highly recommend. Cards have been thoroughly shuffled, and I'm just going to shuffle now to see what card pops up as your overall energy for Gemini. Please, Spirit, Gemini twins. If you're here as a cross watcher, welcome. Feel free to flip the energies if you see fit. Okay, 5 cards popped out, and I'm not taking that many. I just want one, please, Spirit. Okay, and then it was like here. My goodness, this is a very powerful card. It's the number 4, which the number 4 in the tarot represents the Emperor energy, Aries energy. The card is what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. What's so weird, it's almost as if I saw this merry-go-round, I almost saw it spinning and the steam just about to hit, like, if I can describe it, that the steam was like coming this way. So strange. Oh wow, there's a little sign at the bottom, very hard to read. It says karma ache. karma ache. There's a little kind of key here. It's like a wind-up toy. Do you feel as if your twin is playing with you like a toy? If they are, they're not doing it consciously. No excuses, though. No excuses for that, but what goes around comes around. Of course, of course. If you are at all familiar with Justin Timberlake's songs, he wrote a very famous song called What Goes Around Comes Around. Amazing song. That's an amazing album. Old album at this point, but an amazing album nonetheless. So maybe that's your favorite album, or an album you and your twin used to listen to a lot. Maybe that song resonates with you. Told me you loved me, why did you leave me all alone? That song, oh, that song is not What Goes Around Comes Around. That song is Cry Me a River. Very interesting. Why did I think of Cry Me a River? There's something here. It's almost like you and your twin are like duking it out in the 5D. And one of you is saying, well, what goes around comes around. And the other twin is saying, cry me a river. That's not very nice, twins. That's not very nice. 4 cards for the base spread, 4 cards for clarifiers. Gemini, you showed up in your own reading. You certainly did. You certainly did. I am also twin flame, and my twin flame is a Gemini. Okay. Gems. The first 2 cards are your energy, but please feel free to flip it to your twin, as twins mirror each other, right? The energy shifts, morphs all the time between the 2 of you, right? The polarities can shift. In one stretch of time, you could be the chaser, they could be the runner, and then you could have your spiritual awakening and say, no more, I'm not playing in this circle. What goes around comes around, right? I'm getting off the merry-go-round. I'm stepping off now. And then you're walking in your own direction, and then you become the runner, and your twin becomes the chaser. You got the Father of Wands in the reverse, which is the King of Wands. Explosive energy, absolutely explosive. And clarified by the 3 of Swords, which is the hardest card in the deck, if not the second hardest. This is pretty hard. The only one that is more difficult is the 10 of Wands, which is, you know, if this represents heartache, heartbreak. The 10 of Swords is just absolute devastation. Just on the ground. So there's something here, Gem, that you are could be feeling very, very frustrated, very angry about. Things making you feel really angry. But anger not like in a violent way, but anger in just like, okay, I just heard angry itself. Angry itself. It's almost like it's the lightning bolt is like hitting you from within. Angry itself, trying to move on, trying to reconcile this feeling, trying to understand, perhaps. twin flame connection. Let's get some clarification. 3 cards just jumped out. 3 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles in reverse. This is what it looks like in the upright. Planting seeds. 4 of Pentacles. So whatever you're doing, you're keeping your distance. 4 of Pentacles would talk about just like holding on to all of your assets, all of your heart space, the things that make you feel stable, you're not letting go of. You know, but you may be keeping a distance, but you're still waiting. You're still waiting for your twin. Almost like to come out of nowhere. That's what I just heard, to come out of nowhere. But are you investing anything right now? Because it doesn't look like you are. So have you been the runner? Or were you previously the chaser and now the runner, or vice versa? I feel like this is a waiting energy for your twin, though. It's a very small, like, look at it compared to the size of the rest of the card. It's like a very narrow opening. It's like Spirit is saying there's a narrow window. Spirit's saying to me, to be able to read this card for you, there's a very narrow window of opportunity here. And are you going to wait for your twin to step through, or are you going to step through? Right? Because right now I see a card of, honestly, the 4 of Pentacles. I got the 4 of Pentacles in another reading, but I didn't see it this way in that reading. And for your reading, I see it as a little bit of fear. Like, if I jump off of these lily pads or whatever they are, am I going to find other lily pads? Like, is there going to be something that's going to support me on the surface, or am I going to fall into these murky, watery depths? You know, Gemini being the air sign, it's not to say you don't have emotions. That's not what we're saying. What I am saying is not the most comfortable place for Gemini. This toad doesn't want to fall into the water and have to deal with that, right? But might be worth the investment. 7 of Pentacles typically is a card of investment, planting the seeds, watching them grow, having them come to harvest, and then wondering, was it worth it? Was it worth all this time and effort that I put into it? And right now you're not seeing the value. The card in reverse. How is your person feeling? Well, they have the Judgment card, Major Arcana, number 20. Judgment card, clarified by the 10 of Cups. I gotta tell you, your twin, they're kind of doing pretty well for themselves. They're making their decisions. They're following the call. Judgment card is answering the call of Spirit. They're following their life path, and they're experiencing a beautiful level of abundance, personal abundance. Now, I don't know if that's something that you actually want to hear, Jem, but if you love your twin, then you want to hear it, because ultimately we have to be able to, oh, one of my candles just went out. I always light 2, and even if it's not a twin flame reading, I always light 2. One of them just went out. That's interesting. Did you not like it when I said your twin was doing well? Thank you, Spirit. So, you know, it's not that you didn't like it. Sometimes it's hard to hear, right? But this could be you. You flip the energies. This could be your energy right now. Maybe you are sitting pretty, having made a lot of good decisions for yourself and really feeling like you're in your element and following your bliss, right? You're following your bliss. That's following our bliss is the highest form of vibration that we can sit in, because it means that we're on our life path, that we're doing what we're meant to be doing. Just burning a little bit of Palo Santo over this reading, clearing the energy. So I'm going to pull a clarifier because your twin seems to be, right, Nine of Swords in the reverse. Nine of Swords in the upright is a card of nightmares, overthinking, nightmares, and it's in the reverse. They're not paying that anxiety any mind anymore. That it was there, right? Look at this, right? I just want to show you this kind of steam coming out. It's kind of letting go and letting off steam. It's really weird because is a carousel even run by steam? No, right? I mean, think about that carnival song or a circus song. It's like do 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 do. You know that? It's whimsical, but it's also a little creepy. And it could be driving you crazy. This connection. Karma ache, resting over where the throat and the heart chakra would meet. That sign right there. Maybe you feel like you're being punished. And it can often feel like that, twins. It's like it can feel like we're just being put through the ringer. And it's not meant to torture you, even though it feels that way sometimes. It's not meant to. It's meant to teach you lessons. And the quickest way out of that feeling of pain and suffering is to, one, deal with them head on. Like really face them head on. Because that's the path to liberation, to liberating yourself from the triggers and the childhood wounding and the fear of inadequacy, the fear of abandonment, or codependency, or a lack of independence, like a lack of freedom. But it's the idea of living your best life. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself. And if your twin wants to follow suit, if your twin wants to raise themselves up, then fantastic. You can both help each other energetically in that endeavor. But the idea is, you know, especially if you've come to this reading that you're in separation at this time, is that you focus on yourself and doing the things that you love. Because when you do that, you raise your vibration and you're happier, then your happiness just infects everybody else. Makes everyone around you happy. It's not happy with a fake smile. It's true happiness. True happiness is also a form of empowerment. What's the connection? The energy of the connection. You got the Father of Swords, which is the King of Swords, which I attribute to Gemini energy. Sometimes it's attributed to Libra, but for me it represents Gemini. You got that in the reverse, and you got the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. This is a beautiful card. Obviously, my name is Honey, so I'm drawn to bees. But in this card, the bee is creating a hive from the universe, right? This kind of reminds me of one of my favorite readers on YouTube. Her name is San Tarot. She's brilliant. Check her out. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Can't say enough about her. She talks about bees in a particular way. She'll say that she believes that it's not that the bees are disappearing, although she's a very rational person, so we know that because of climate change that the bees are disappearing, but it kind of energetically, metaphorically speaking, are the bees disappearing or are they actually jumping dimensions in time? Because they, as a species, bees defy physics because their body mass it's like their body mass outweighs the capacity of what their wings should be able to handle. So they're kind of a wonder of science. And so sometimes she will say it's the bees are jumping dimensions, and this depiction would suggest so, that in the creation of their honey, in the creation of their perfect hive, they actually create a portal to somewhere else. This is relevant. I don't know how yet. It will come eventually, hopefully. But with the King of Swords, for the connection, it's in reverse. So it's like, number one, you're not feeling quite in your element. King of Swords typically talks about somebody who is an authority figure, somebody who has expertise, who has credentials. So in modern society, I would assume it would be like a doctor, lawyer, therapist, judge, some policing authority. In a less modern context, could be a shaman, although I would probably associate that more with the Hierophant card. But somebody who knows all they need to know, knows all the facts, knows how to strategize. And here it's like you're just so, you're at a loss. Like, if we can see here, he's like thinking. But it's like you're at a loss for how to, because you know why, Gems? Because you can't rationalize a twin flame connection. It often doesn't make any sense. Like, why would anyone sign up for this? Well, being a human is kind of a flash in the pan. Cosmically speaking, our human lives are very short. So in the realm of the universe, we're not even a blip. We're a blip of a blip of a blip times 1,000 times 1,000,000 of how much we're on Earth. So, you know, to think of the twin flame as something eternal, energetic connection, it's just like, what? What? How does that even make sense? Right? How are we jumping into other dimensions? Like, I haven't even worked on it. Like, I wouldn't even know the first thing about doing that. Eight of Pentacles talks about commitment and hard work, investment. So I think there's a lot of confusion in the connection right now. Everybody's just trying to make heads or tails of the situation. I'm just going to pull one more card to clarify that, and then we'll get to your Spirit's message. Six of Pentacles, this showed up in the last reading, which was Taurus. Six of Pentacles in the reverse. Six of Pentacles in the upright talks about equal give and take. But in the reverse, it's, you know, things being lopsided. Things not really making quite a lot of sense. I mean, this is hanging herbs, right? They can't hang the other way around for it to make sense. So right now there is, you and your twin are on very unequal footing. And it's, union is not necessarily around the corner. It's not impossible, but it's not around the corner at this time. Because you're still trying to, you or your twin, still trying to make heads or tails of it. Spirit's advice, Seven of Cups in the reverse and the Moon in reverse. Moon being the major arcana for Pisces, also represents Cancer energy. The Seven of Cups talks about being spoiled for choice, that there's a lot of confusion happening here. And the Moon in reverse, there's Spirit is trying to bring you that illumination. Right? The Moon is always represented by the primal and the domesticated. Right? The domesticated dog and the primal wolf. And you got this card in reverse, so it's kind of like Spirit is going, okay, thank you, Spirit. Spirit wants to bring in more clarity to you, but you have to decide. You have to make a decision one way or the other. So it's this idea that there's 7 cups. They're all sloshing around. Which one do I choose? And it's very dizzying. They're all sloshing around. And Spirit's almost telling you to, like, it's almost like grab hold of this cup tower and just like stop it. Stop the movement, because you have to be able to look at it clearly to decide on which cup you're going to drink from, right? Which cup of love are you going to drink from? There's so many possibilities. So it's almost like we have to stop the carousel, or else it's just going to spin right out of control, right off the top of our heads. It's going to drive us crazy, and we have to prevent that. You know, I look at this face. It seems kind of apathetic, doesn't it? It seems kind of, I'm just going through this robotic activity. It's almost like devoid of personality. Maybe you're feeling really numb in your twin flame connection, which I identify with. I get it, gems. But the thing is, if you're numb to the connection, you are numb to yourself. You never want to be in that place. Try to find a spark in you. Do things that you enjoy doing. Listen to music that makes you feel happy. Dance and sing. You know, run outside barefoot in the dirt. Go for a long swim or a hike in the woods. Travel. Celebrate with friends. Celebrate your life. That's the best thing you can do for your twin flame connection, I guarantee. Thank you so much, gems, for being here. Thank you so much for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. Please comment down below if this resonated for you. Hit the bell notification if you would like to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you.